Once again, we have even more breaking news coming from UnitedHealth Group Incorporated, stock ticker UNH, which is now down 50.23% in the last month alone. They went from trading in the high 500s all the way down to its low point of $257 per share. But we can see now on the day, it's taken quite a jump up about 6.18%. Why is this? Well, it was just revealed that 3 insiders just purchased the stock. We have Director John Noseworthy, Director Kristen Gill, and Director Timothy Flynn. Insiders all making sizable investments into UNH stock while the stock is low. We can see this first insider purchase amounted to about $500,000 total, the second was over $1 million, and the third was around $100,000. Now, why is this so interesting? Well, we can see for the last few years, the majority of insider transactions for UNH have been sales. Total sales has been about $207 million over the past 3 years, while total buys has only been about $2.1 million, and most of that has come literally in the last day. Now, who are these people and what does this tell us about UNH stock? Well, like we already know, all 3 of these people are directors for UNH, so they did already have positions in the stock. But the largest transaction was over $1 million, coming from Kristen Gill, who also happens to be a senior executive at Google. And this transaction more than 3x'd her position in UNH. Now, if you've been keeping up with this stock, you know why this is so interesting. Just a few days ago, the Wall Street Journal announced that UnitedHealth Group is under criminal investigation for possible Medicare fraud, and this caused a massive sell-off in the stock. But later that day, UNH responded to this Wall Street Journal article, and what they stated is that they have not been notified by the Department of Justice of the supposed criminal investigation reported without official attribution in the Wall Street Journal today. The Wall Street Journal's reporting is deeply irresponsible, as even it admits that the exact nature of the potential criminal allegations is unclear. They then stated, "We stand by the integrity of our Medicare Advantage program." Now, according to the Wall Street Journal, the fraud that's being investigated is centered around UNH's Medicare Advantage business. Now, this is a big deal because it's estimated that this portion of the business accounts for around 25 to 30% of the company's total revenue. So that's a significant amount. And the reality is, if the Department of Justice did find fraud, then this stock could legitimately go much, much lower. Now, if that were the case, we'd likely see 2 things happen. To start out, we would certainly not be seeing insider buying. These insiders were able to buy in at the lowest prices we've seen in over 5 years. But on top of this, I want to point something out that I haven't seen anyone make note of. Look at the short interest for UNH. Short interest is sitting at 0.98%, less than 1%. Typically when stocks have a lot of negative sentiment, when the snowball's going the wrong way, and there's more danger on the horizon, institutions will take advantage of this by shorting the stock. But that's not what's happening with UNH. Short interest has remained very low. Institutions are not betting against this company. So I do want to be clear, I don't have any way of knowing whether or not this news from the Wall Street Journal is true. Keep in mind, they did recently release a false article about Elon Musk stepping down. But what I am saying is, the signs aren't currently showing that insiders believe that there is fraud. So on the flip side, what does this mean? Is there massive opportunity with this company? Now again, complete transparency like always, UNH is a small position in my portfolio, making up about 1.9% as of right now. And if we jump over to the stock screener and look at UNH, what we can see is the past decade had very stable high levels of revenue growth, and the same is true with EPS with the exception of 2024, which was brought down due to a one-time cybersecurity attack. So let's just make the assumption that there's no fraud. What would this stock be worth? Now, what we know is management did just pull back their guidance for 2025. So this makes it much more difficult to project future earnings growth. But with all the news that's come out recently, we've seen a lot of analysts revise their estimates around UNH. And so what we can actually do is get a lot of insights into what type of returns we could see from this stock by looking at the average analyst EPS estimates over the next few years. So we'll jump over to my sensitivity valuation and come up here and plug in UNH. And like always, if you'd like me to download any of my spreadsheets and also get access to the ticker data add-on in Google Sheets that allows you to automatically import stock financials straight into your spreadsheet, then you can head over to tickerdata.com at the link in the description. Now, if we come down here, what we can see is the revised estimated average earnings per share from analysts. So what ticker data is automatically doing is it's looking at all the analyst expectations when it comes to earnings over the next few years and averaging them together. Now what we can see is it's projecting 2025 EPS to come in at about $24.06 per share. Now for reference, what would that be compared to prior years? Well, if we look at earnings per share in 2024, again, it was much lower at $15.51 due to the one-time cybersecurity attack. But if we look at 2023, it came in at about $24.12. Now, original guidance was pushing 2025 estimates above $26 per share, but it looks like analysts have revised down to about 2023 EPS. So again, $24.06. But after that, they're still projecting mid-double-digit growth. So most analysts, along with the insiders like we're seeing, are still bullish on this stock. In fact, the projected EPS CAGR through 2029 is 16%, which is actually in line with what management has stated is their long-term goal of 13 to 16% EPS growth. So even with revised earnings much lower, projected EPS growth still looks good. Now, when it comes to actually seeing our total returns, there's two elements. Yes, we do have to project our EPS growth rate, but we also have to project our future PE ratio for this stock. And let me show you why this stock has become a true high-risk, high-reward scenario. The average PE ratio for UNH over the last decade is about 22.87. The trailing 12 months PE ratio is now just 12.12. It's 47% lower than the average PE ratio over the last decade. So let's just look at an example. Let's say that it's announced that there is no fraud within this company, the Wall Street Journal article was incorrect, and the PE ratio jumps back up to the average over the last decade of 22.87. Now we need to project our future EPS growth rate, and I want to be much more conservative than analyst estimates. So let's say that in 2025, EPS is only $20 per share, and moving forward, the projected EPS growth rate is only going to be 6%, much lower than what management has stated as their goal, much lower than analyst expectations. What we can see is by 2030, your total return is over 109%, with a compounded annual return of 13.13%, much higher than the market average. Now let's look at the company from a very bullish standpoint. Maybe projected EPS growth is closer to what management has stated as their goal and analyst average expectations. Maybe it's about 14.5. All of a sudden, you can see why this stock has become a high-risk, high-reward scenario. By 2030, your total return could be 208%, or a compounded annual return of 20.65%. So we're talking about a tripling of the stock price in a short time period. But again, there's still high risk involved. If the Wall Street Journal article proves to be true, then who knows just how low this stock could go. And to be honest, we really don't have any way to know whether or not it's true right now. But I do have to say, the two most interesting indicators of whether or not it's true would have to be insider purchasing and buying and the short interest ratio. Both of these are telling us institutions aren't comfortable betting against this stock. And if you're a shareholder of this company, that's what you want to see. Keep in mind, along with all this information and the potential for high total returns, UNH is a phenomenal dividend growth stock historically speaking. The starting dividend yield is now around 2.88%, which is pretty much the all-time high starting yield for this company, and combine that with the fact the dividend growth has looked absolutely phenomenal with a 10-year dividend CAGR of above 16%. So great combination of starting dividend yield with very high levels of dividend growth. So go ahead and let me know what you think of this recent news about UNH with the insider purchases. And like always, if you'd like to download any of my spreadsheets and also get access to the ticker data add-on in Google Sheets that allows you to automatically import stock financials straight into your spreadsheet, then you can head over to tickerdata.com at the link in the description. So with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.